There's been a transformation between Esri and Autodesk where now we're collaborating and sharing information between the two enterprise platforms. And data is really at the center of this. We're in the original philosophy. The CAD world was designed and GIS was about location, but now the ability to exchange that data between the CAD and the GIS worlds makes being able to view data inside GIS, CAD data inside GIS, quite easy. Like we're seeing here, this is a Revit model that I read directly into a web browser. You can see as I zoom in, there's greater levels of detail associated with that Revit model that I can see securely through a web browser. I could simply click on any feature and then see information about it. Let's zoom into the interior space now and look at more levels of detail that are associated with that Revit model. As I zoom in, you'll notice even details as great as this wall plug can be rendered and visualized inside a web viewer. I can see an asset ID, which could link to a as-built drawing or even an asset management system about that data of this terminal.
Let's have a look at ArcGIS Indoors now and how that information makes its way from a BIM model into the ArcGIS Indoors information model. And what the Indoors information model allows you to do is to improve collaboration and make yourself more productive. And you can indoor map your entire facilities across the airport and do wayfinding as well as location tracking. And the key is that you can build your indoor information model and that the deliverable becomes available so that you could connect your indoor positioning systems and enable location tracking in the blue dot in your indoor model. It comes in 3 different modes. ArcGIS Indoors comes in a mobile version, in a kiosk mode, and in a web viewer. The real difference between the kiosk and the web viewer is really this, that the buttons and the "you are here," that's where the kiosk is located, and then those 3 core functionality is built right in to the kiosk mode. So an employee could quickly use the kiosk mode and identify where they are at their home location and then take me directly to, say, an asset or a facility or anything that's in the indoor information model at whatever terminal they're located at. And you can navigate to that using whatever mode of travel you like and be able to print that information out and then share it in hard copy or just view it on the kiosk. You can do the very same things with the web viewer as well.
Let's have a look now at the indoor information model of the Houston George Bush Terminal C. This is a web viewer, and I simply access this viewer and then can see greater levels of detail about the individual floors and then points of interest and then locations of specific assets and infrastructure simply by interacting with the browser. You can see that all these are details that are loaded into the indoor model and accessible to anyone who's has secure access. A real important use case for indoors would be the ability then to do asset inspections. So I noticed, say, as the supervisor, that there was a fire extinguisher that required service. So I could simply tap that share button and then send an email about inspecting this fire extinguisher to the individual, in this case, David James, who would go out and do the inspection and possibly service that individual fire extinguisher. So once I sent that information to David in an email, he would open it, and then that link would take him directly to that fire extinguisher. If he's located at the airport employee offices, could also give him route instructions, floor-aware instructions on how to get to that fire extinguisher and how long it would take him to get there as well. Could easily then route to that location and then begin whatever service is necessary. Also, if I wanted to, as a person using that routing, I could print this information and then share it with others. So if somebody didn't know how to get to that location, it'd be very simple for me to then share that in a PDF and then send that document in an email to someone else or print a hard copy. Let's zoom in now and have a look at some of the other details. You can see here if I'm at the United Airlines club or the customer service area, this is its location, so it's very simple to find that location. Maybe I'm going to make that my home. So if I were to say select this as my home button, then I could do some other things like being able to route to that or from that from any other area at the airport. So maybe I want to find out how long it would take me to get from that home location to this retail service area like the Starbucks. So it shows up in the list, and then again it gives me route instructions and how long it'll take me to get there, whether that's through walking or through wheelchair. Likewise, the indoor model allows you to segregate between public and private access. So this is an employee area here. So in the operations support area, maybe I want to navigate from there to elsewhere if I'm an employee. But there's restrictions on access. So if I wanted to say go from that operations support area to that AED because there was an emergency and I needed to know how to get to that. Maybe I also wanted to include another area, say a baggage area in this routing. You'll see because I don't have access into that public access area, then I'm not allowed to route from one place to another. So it's based on your credentials, which allows you to do certain functionality like routing between one location and another. If this AED were, after it's been used, require service, again, it would be very simple for me to send that in an email to someone else or even conduct an inspection through my asset management system simply by clicking this form. It takes me to this inspection form, which is configurable. And I simply fill out using the drop downs and some issue descriptions what it is I need to do. And I could even go in and take a picture of that AED and then submit that for service directly using this form. And then it would be updated in the system. ArcGIS Indoors also has a mobile app, as you can see here, and the same sort of functionality exists in the mobile app. So I'm on my tablet now, and I'm working in the terminal, so I could easily then use the same sort of functionality where I could tap on a specific feature where I'm located then, and then route to it from any other place. And it would also give me the step-by-step instructions on how to get from one place to another using any mobile application, a device like a tablet or a Windows PC or even a Windows device. So let's now transition into the safety and security. So using Indoors, I've got this facility mapped. And as you can see, I can track the location of my safety and security personnel because they've logged into the application and I can track them in real time. So we can see where that individual security personnel is located at this point in time. So it's real-time access to their location. Likewise, then I could see the location of any incidents that had been reported. So in this case, there was an altercation in a parking lot. So using Indoors, then I could map the location of all my CCTVs. And then if I were to see the view shed of this one individual TV, I might actually be able to get video that has been recorded. So now I can look on this dashboard and have quick access to historic and real-time video, which might have captured that incident. Additionally, we have a 2 and a 3D viewer that's embedded in this dashboard that allows me to locate individuals who are logged into the Indoor app so I can track their location in real time. And then a running total of all the incidences that may have happened throughout this facility. As you can see, the details about that altercation exist in this database so I could access it. Something as simple as showing me the location of office space or those individual office areas that are vacant or being occupied at this point using Indoors is very simple with a dashboard like this. They're floor aware, as we said before. I could then toggle through the floors or even see individual areas across the airport. So in this case, I'll look at building Q and I could see details about the number of vacant offices and those that are occupied in that specific building. And they are floor aware, so by floor I can then see number of offices vacant and occupied and what their percentages are as well. If I'm going to manage this office space or the space inside the terminal, I could use a dashboard like this as well. As a lease space manager, I could then see what spaces are occupied and very quickly then get detailed information about them. Again, they're floor aware as well, so they can link to a lease management system using Indoors. You could see those individual details about a specific lease space and be able to quickly interact with this dashboard to see those data in real time. There's other details you can also see. Lastly, because we can collect information about passenger movement, individuals that are accessing the Wi-Fi or then the information about their individual MAC addresses on their mobile devices that they carry around can be stored in a big data store. As you can see here, these are the historic points of passengers who in this case were boarding the aircraft or maybe at this restaurant. And I could generate density maps and then do other analysis on those things. For lease management, that becomes important because across the airport, certain lease space demands more higher rent than others. So using this dashboard, then I could locate those individual lease spaces that demand higher rent, and then overlaying the density of passengers who travel through that terminal, it's very easy for me to justify the fact that certain lease space has greater density of people, therefore it demands